Thank you. At this time, we'd like to welcome Nickel City Sound. They will be doing our Canadian national anthem.
Hello and welcome inside the Sudbury Community Arena for some afternoon basketball, the National Basketball League of Canada, between the Halifax Hurricanes and Sudbury 5. I'm Nick Liard, and an absolute pleasure today, joined by Shirlene McLean, a Hall of Famer at Laurentian. So welcome to the broadcast, Shirlene.
Thank you very much, Nick. It's a pleasure to be here.
And so the Sudbury 5, they're coming off a loss last night, 110-107 to the London Lightning, but 6-3 in the season, a pretty good start for the Sudbury 5 team.
Absolutely. They're an expansion team. I think they're doing a great job. Hey, they've done our community a great pleasure of being here.
And so, speaking of pleasures, we get the two teams who've played in the league final the last 3 seasons, Halifax and London. London yesterday, they are two-time defending champions. Halifax winning 3 years ago. Both teams, some roster turnover, but still some veteran presence on this team as well.
And that's the thing. The 5 are going to see where they stand in teams that are already been in the league. So should be an interesting game tonight.
One thing of note, Jalen Bland, who was injured in last night's game for the Sudbury 5, won't play tonight. Who do you expect, or what do you expect from the Sudbury 5 team to make up for, over 20 points a game offense?
And that's exactly the same thing. They're going to find collectively, hopefully, someone will step up to play collectively and fill the void of his 20 points.
Well, Braylon Rayson definitely going to have the shoulders load this afternoon in the front court, or the back court, sorry. The Sudbury 5 are going to be needing good games from Dexter Williams Jr., Corey Dixon as well. Corey Dixon has been playing very good, and Grandy Glaze coming off the bench, leading this league in rebounding. How impressive is that?
That's actually where it all starts, is on the glass. Get that board, secure it, and you're in the game.
Last night against the London Lightning, the Sudbury 5 outscored the Lightning by 8 points from quarters 2 to 4. However, it was the first quarter that really did them in. They were outscored by 11 points. And the Sudbury 5, they're going to need a quick start here this afternoon.
Absolutely, and that's where it is. If you fall behind in the first quarter, that could be the demise of the whole game for you.
The Sudbury 5, they're 6-3, like we mentioned. Halifax, 4-5 on the season, but let's take a minute here because they've played the Moncton Magic 4 times this season. Moncton 9-0 on the season. They are off to a fiery start. So Halifax, still a team that can provide some pressure to the Sudbury 5 team, and you want to come out with at least a split this weekend. The loss on last night, they did win Thursday against Kitchener-Waterloo.
And that's the thing about it. You lose one game the night before, you have to lose your memory, get ready to play the next day, and get ready to fight and claw for this win.
So London was 4-4. They've decided to fire their head coach. It ended up in a win. The Halifax taking a little bit of a different approach. Yes, they've been to 3 finals. They know it's a long season. Last season, they were 28-12 on the season. This year, as I mentioned, 4-5. So the starting lineups for this afternoon for the visiting Halifax Hurricanes: Mike Poole, Ramel Brown, Cliff Clinscales, Joel Kindred, and Gabe Freeman, a longtime National Basketball League of Canada player. On the other side, we mentioned Jalen Bland, who is known to this starting lineup, won't play this afternoon, so it'll be Braylon Rayson and Corey Dixon, going a little bit bigger with Travis Relaford, Devin Gilligan, and Yohani D'Alembert getting his first start in his second game. And he showed a little bit last night in terms of short minutes that he played. Yohani D'Alembert from Haiti, a Canadian citizen. But how long does it take, someone coming into a roster to pick up, new plays, things like that, where players are going to be your teammates on the court, where they like the ball? How long does it take to kind of get familiar?
Actually, you know what? There's no one quite number that you can say. The thing is, get into practice, get some reps up, get your experience through your games. Hopefully you self-correct, and the transition's a little bit easier.
Well, one thing that he is, doesn't take a whole lot of practice is his timing and jumping, and he can block some shots. We saw it last night, a couple blocks for D'Alembert, and some free throws as well. He was able to get to the line and knock it down. So the Sudbury Five, again, without Jalen Bland, Travis Relaford had a huge game. The Kansas standout is going to be called on once again. So we'll take you down to floor level, where we are ready to get underway between the Halifax Hurricanes and Sudbury Five. The last game, it was Travis Relaford with 24 points against the London Lightning, and Braylon Rayson, Jalen Bland. Braylon Rayson only had 8 points, so going to be called on this afternoon. Travis Relaford starts us off, gets it into Corey Dixon. It's tipped away and out of bounds. It'll stay with Sudbury 5 ball. Braylon Rayson gets it into D'Alembert. Out to Devin Gilligan. He sweeps, goes right to the basket. And nice right-handed finish there. Devin Gilligan gets the starting bucket for the Sudbury Five. Took about 2 minutes last game before Sudbury got their first basket.
And that's just a great move by the offense. Penetrating, turning the corner, and attacking the basket.
Joel Kindred gets the first bucket of the afternoon for the Halifax Hurricanes at 3. Then Relaford responds back the other way.
And you can see early in the game that the Five are looking to attack the defense. They're getting to the paint, and only good things can come from that.
Kindred swings it around to Mike Poole. Now it's inside Gabe Freeman. Freeman's shot, he misses. National Basketball League of Canada MVP way back in 2010, 2011. So he's been around this league for a while. Was released at the beginning of the season by the St. John Riptide, and staying with the National Basketball League of Canada, finding a spot in the Halifax Hurricanes organization. Looks like he lost his shoe, and so gives it a quick fix. No shoehorns on the court. And Poole with the drive to the basket. It's going to go out of bounds, and it'll be Sudbury basketball.
And you can see both teams are pretty much playing the same game. They're looking to attack the paint. Going to have to, both sides are going to have to take care of that. There's too much penetration early in the game.
Gabe Freeman once again fixing the shoe. So quick break. Gabe Freeman coming in averaging 20 points, 9 rebounds. He's 33 years old, one of the longest serving players in the National Basketball League of Canada. Like we said, off and on since 2010, 2011. He's established some roots. He's from Phoenix, Arizona, but he's established some roots in London. A foundation that helps kids without means to play basketball. So you can see these players really falling in love with the communities that they play in. They're role models to young basketball players as well. And, yourself playing at Laurentian University, how big is this to be able to grow the game in Greater Sudbury?
And that's the thing. Sudbury is a community where they will get behind you in anything that you do. The fact that we have an NBL team here in Sudbury is an amazing thing, and it's it's a a dream come true for all those little young players that want to play and learn how to play and want to know the game. Well, it's here right in front of them.
Corey Dixon gets fouled, and you know, the opportunities start to open up as well. You look at, you know, possibilities of hosting, you know, bigger basketball tournaments where the finals can be played here on this court. And how cool is it to be played in a big arena with this much seating, the lighting, the court. I mean, the court is absolutely beautiful. And then the possibility, you know, as well, Laurentian University playing, I know they love their home court at Laurentian, but to be able to play playoff games perhaps here is a wonderful opportunity.
Absolutely. The big picture is that it's a good thing that the NBL is here. I think it's something that's great for the community, good for the sport of basketball, and we can only hope that it grows and gets better.
Kindred gets it over now to Poole. Mike Poole up top to Clinscales. Clinscales, the left-handed pass to Poole. The floater in the paint, no good. Corey Dixon with the rebound. Braylon Rayson as the Sudbury 5 lead, 5-3. Rayson inside to Relaford. He goes up with the right hand and picks up a foul. He'll head to the line for 2.
And that's just a great little bounce pass into the post player. Nice little get him on your hip, see the open space, go up, and now he's going to the line.
And this lineup allows Relaford to play a little bit more of his natural position. You know, 3-4. Small forward, power forward, but he can go inside, he can go outside. He brings a lot to this team, not only, you know, on the court, but off the court. Some experience, 4 years at the University of Kansas. He's been through it all. NCAA Final Fours, Elite Eights. And someone that if you're a young player, you want to pick his brain for sure. The shot goes up from Kindred, and it is missed. Braylon Rayson, nice pass there into Corey Dixon. It's stripped by Gabe Freeman. Back the other way to Kindred. The Euro step, and he puts up the right-handed layup. And that's good. Sudbury leading this one 6-5.
And you're noticing both teams are really getting their hands on a lot of balls here. They're up in the passing lanes, deflecting the ball, and the coaches are going to be happy with the defense.
Relaford slicing to the basket. Relaford picking up where he left off after last game. And now Clinscales to the basket. He is able to put it in with the left hand. He's 34 years old. A lot of players from this team from the New York area, so we'll touch on that more as the game goes on. But a couple players in their 30s, some veterans on this team looking to lead Halifax back to a 4th straight National Basketball League of Canada finals appearance. Gabe Freeman gets it in to Ramel Brown. Back out to Kindred. And Gabe Freeman, he jacks it up from 3 right beside head coach Logan Stutz. Gives him a little look and runs back on defense. Travis Relaford now with the ball for Sudbury. Getting the double screen from Yohani D'Alembert and Corey Dixon inside to D'Alembert. One dribble, puts it down. Relaford gets the pass somehow and is able to put it down.
Great little bounce pass into a cutting Sudbury 5 member, and good for 2 points.
It's Clinscales. Gets it over to Poole. Gabe Freeman is going to be fouled. Had a bit of a mismatch on Braylon Rayson inside, looking to expose it.
Absolutely. If you're a smaller person on a big, you gotta fight to get them off their sweet spot. Don't allow them to get to where they want to. The battle begins before he catches the ball.
And in that situation, would you want someone who's a smaller guard in the post? Would you want them to front or stay behind?
I would probably front and make them have to throw the ball over top, hoping that you have your help side D where they need to be.
And a quick sub comes in. It's Tyrone Watson. Nobody picks him up. Quick inbound play. And it's up and in. Relaford going to the basket. And he's going to be fouled heading to the line for 2. Looked like he blocked himself off the backboard.
Yeah, not sure about that one. Might love to see the replay on that. But it definitely looked like that exactly thing happened where he blocked himself.
And Relaford going up, gets hit on the head.
Okay,
so that's where the foul was on Gabe Freeman. Out comes Clinscales. At least he's talking to the bench for the moment. A couple subs coming in. Adam Blazek for the Sudbury 5. And Grandy Glaze as well for the Sudbury 5. So Travis Relaford, who is shooting, he'll actually get subbed out. Adam Blazek from an injury, so we'll keep an eye on Travis Relaford. Got hit in the face and I guess was bleeding. That's why he had to come out.
Okay.
And we mentioned already Jalen Bland out of this game, injured himself around the 3:30-minute mark of the fourth quarter in last night's game. So for the Sudbury Five, hopefully he's not out for long, but offense is going to be made up somewhere else. Dexter Williams Jr. comes in, Adam Blazek just in to shoot the free throws.
And hopefully what we can see from the defensive end of the floor from the Five is to get a couple of possessions where they get their defensive stop, they score. Get another defensive stop, they score. That'll give them some breathing room to maybe make a move and get on a roll with this team.
Ramel Brown swinging it around. Tyrone Watson now with the ball up top to Poole. Great ball movement there, and it's finished off by Gabe Freeman underneath.
And the pick and roll is such a simple thing to do, but one of the hardest things to defend. You really have to communicate the roller and nobody on the weak side.
And speaking of tough to defend, a great job sealing there by Corey Dixon. Nobody on the help side for the Halifax Hurricanes. However, he misses the layup back the other way. A missed layup by the Hurricanes. Braylon Rayson going to the cup, and he's fouled. It'll be on the floor and not shooting, so we'll have a end line out of bounds or sideline out of bounds. And Dexter Williams Jr. now coming in for Adam Blazek.
And that's one of the things I think the Five can do maybe a better job at, of getting the ball up the floor, look for some transitions, some easy early points. They're athletic, and I think that they can take advantage of their athleticism.
Grandy Glaze setting the screen for Braylon Rayson. A Glaze, nice bounce pass to Dexter Williams Jr. He's blocked there by Brown. Back the other way. It's Clint Scales. And the shot goes up from Freeman. It's well long, and here's an opportunity to run. Braylon Rayson loses it a little bit, gets it into Devin Gilligan, uses the size, puts it up, and in with the right hand. Good patience there by Braylon Rayson. Didn't have a whole lot of control on the ball. Slowed it down, didn't try to force a pass in there, just got the bounce pass to Devin Gilligan, who's able to put it in.
And that's just a pure wanting and wanting it more than the defender. He went up strong and won the battle there.
The offensive rebound, and Watson's able to put it in. Second chance points killed the Sudbury Five last night against the Lightning. AJ Gaines Jr. was huge off the bench. Racing to the cup. Had an opportunity to put it up. I think he knew he was fouled. He should have just went up for the layup. So we'll see if they call it shooting or on the pass. And so the first timeout, if we said it before, if there is no timeout taken at the 6-minute mark in the first quarter, there will be a TV timeout. So what do you like? What do you not like from the Sudbury Five early in this game, a 16-14 game for the guests?
Well, I like the energy from both sides of both teams. I think offensively, the Five just have to do a better job at moving the ball, attacking, being ready, and the most important part of the game of basketball is the execution side of it. You need to run your stuff, see what the defense gives you, and then put the ball in the hoop.
And the Halifax Hurricanes, they played on Friday, a loss to the Moncton Magic. We talked about just how many times they've played Moncton so far, 4 games, all of them losses. So that makes up a huge chunk of their schedule. That's why they're 4-5. Moncton off to an absolutely great start. But they went very deep into their bench. We're already starting to see it. The Sudbury Five last game kind of went with, a 7-8 man rotation, kind of shorter bench a little bit. But the Halifax Hurricanes, they're testing out some of the players on the bench. They got some good contribution from players like Kadar Edwards, Jordan Washington, and we're seeing Tyrone Watson from Hamilton getting a couple baskets.
And the good part about it, even though they've played the top team and they've lost to them every time, what they're doing is they're gaining experience from playing the top team in the league. they're going to get better. They're going to learn from their mistakes. They're going to self-correct. That's what their coaches will do, and it's going to help them in the long run.
And their head coach, Mike Leslie, was a former assistant with PEI in the Island Storm before becoming the Halifax head coach in 2016 to present. Every year he's been the head coach. He's been to a finals, so I'd say that's a pretty good record.
Absolutely, he's doing the right thing.
Pushing the right buttons in Halifax. A little bit different of a roster this year. Braylon Rayson, the step back three is going to go off front iron and out. It's Clint Scales looking to get it into Watson. He does the corner jumper. Doesn't go in. Another second chance point. And it's Ramel Brown.
And the Five have to do a better job on the defensive glass. It's a matter of how much you want it. Get physical, cause some contact, and get him off the glass.
Braylon Rayson looking for Travis Relaford. Good to see him back after leaving. Took a shot to the head. Trying to get it in. The long reach of Brown is able to pull it out, and Watson the other way. The Canadian from Hamilton, playing a couple seasons at New Mexico State, was the Canadian of the Year in the 2014-15 season.
And you can see the Halifax team, they're really stepping up their defense. They're in the passing lanes, they're deflecting balls, and that's where they've now got themselves in a nice groove.
And right on point, the defense leads to offense, and it's Mike Poole finishing, and the lead extends now 22-14. Inside to Grandy Glaze. Nice pass to Dexter Williams Jr., the cut. And nobody watching the kind of side cut from Dexter Williams Jr. Just great job taking advantage of an opening.
And that's just great recognition from the Five. Post player has the ball. We get a weak side cut into the key. And I think that that's something that the Five have to do a little bit better job of, getting some action, movement on the floor, getting the ball from side to side, and then that'll break your defense down where the lanes will open up for you.
And the Sudbury Five, they went with a zone defense for parts of the game against London last night, and you can kind of excuse, you know, those offensive rebounds when you're playing a zone, because there's those areas where defenders can get in. But when you're playing man-to-man, the second chance points are inexcusable. An illegal screen should be called there, and out of bounds, Sudbury 5 ball.
And that's the thing about rebounding. We can, as coaches, can devise as many kind of drills in practice where you practice rebounding, but rebounding comes from the heart, and it comes about, am I willing to work hard to go after this ball? Can I anticipate where the ball is going, and will I make contact and then go get the ball?
And Grandy Glaze, a perfect example of it, as he jacks up at 5-4-3, knocking that down, but just wanting it more than the other team. Grandy Glaze leading the league in rebounding off the bench. And an offensive foul there, a little chicken wing action. And Relaford has the foul against him, and it'll be the other way for the Sudbury Five.
And that's just great defense from the Five. He held his position, had his hands straight up so that the offensive person couldn't draw the foul from him. Just a great individual defensive effort. The
foul on Jordan Washington. Relaford is going to get called for the travel. Made the move a little bit too quick. And a turnover the other way.
And I think the Five have to build off of what they were doing a couple of possessions ago. They had the ball moving side to side. Everyone was touching it, getting a little bit of action, and then looking to attack.
And the ball goes inside now to Jordan Washington. Has it knocked away, he's going to get fouled by Travis Relaford. Head to the free throw line. Jordan Washington went to Iona University, where he averaged 17 points a game in his senior season. Numerous awards in the ALMAC conference, and a couple first-round NCAA appearances. There's, you know, that's a theme with this team, and really with this league, that you have really high-caliber talent who've played in NCAA, you know, important games in their, you know, their conference tournament, but also in the big stage in March Madness.
Hey, anytime you get a chance to play in a high level, you're going to gain experience from that. It's going to make you a better player. It'll allow you to grow and develop, and hey, that's what you're seeing. Not just athleticism, but you're seeing great basketball IQ, accompanied with great athletic package.
And you know, you want players like that on your team. The players, they're used, they know how to win. As Travis Relaford, just as we say that from Kansas, is able to knock down the three, but they've won their entire life. They know what it takes to get to those big stages and play in big games. And so if you can have a couple of those players on your team, especially starting lineup and right off the bench, it's going to go a long way, especially late in the season.
Absolutely, and playing this game of basketball and any sport that you play, your mindset is just as important as your craft and your skill. So when you have the mindset of knowing how to win and knowing what it takes to win, it's only going to help you develop and mature and hopefully be successful.
Jordan Washington able to pick it away. That one takes a weird hop and goes to Watson, who's fouled. He'll head to the free throw line, upset with himself he couldn't get the and one there.
So you can see the theme of the team from Halifax. They're really pushing the pace right now. They're hurting the five with their transition game and their second and third opportunities that they're getting on the glass.
You see the replay there and the foul. A close game, 24-22 in this first quarter, 1:43 left to go. Free throw is missed by Watson. A couple Canadians on this team, a couple players from the Queens area, the Jamaica area of New York. And Dexter Williams Jr. up top. Gets a screen, a tough bounce pass there. A lot of players in congestion. Tough to find it. I mean, better off just to shoot it at that point than to force a bounce pass in. Luckily for the five, they get a kickball call.
Absolutely. The read was right until that little pocket pass that he tried to jam in there. Absolutely.
And a nice offensive play coming out of the inbounds. Corey Dixon curling on the screen as an opening and isn't able to put it in. So back the other way come the Halifax Hurricanes. In the corner now, it's Kadir Edwards. Inside the hook shot from Jordan Washington. No good. Travis Relaford streaking the other way. Relaford drops it for Blazek. The up fake goes inside to Grandy Glaze. One-on-one with Jordan Washington. He'll shoot it. And Dexter Williams Jr. is going to pick up a tough foul a long way from the basket.
So we see on that offensive set and that offensive play, the ball never moved at all. It stayed on one side of the floor. The defense is just standing and waiting, and that's what's going to be very tough for the five if they don't start making that ball move around the basket and allowing people to touch the ball.
Watson up top, and he's going to go ahead and go against Corey Dixon. Relaford reaching in. He's going to pick up a foul. And without Jalen Bland, they don't have one of their top scorers, the third best scorer in the entire league. They don't have him tonight. And he's one of those guys that you can rely on late in shot clocks to get that shot off and, more often than not, hit that. So you really have to get the ball moving and get a good possession, get a good shot off, get the defensive moving as well. So you get like that shot from Grandy Glaze, for example. It was just two passes and then a jumper, which you could get, 10 seconds more deeper into the clock.
Absolutely. They say if that shot's there in the first 2 seconds of your shot clock, it'll be there in the last 10 seconds of your shot clock. So
that ball bounces around. Dexter Williams Jr. finding the rebound, is able to go up with 6.8 seconds left. The Sudbury 5 trailed after quarter one of last night. Were able to battle back and make it a game. Jalen Bland had a shot to tie it at the end of the game, but the Sudbury 5 were unable to come out with a win. They are 1-1 against the London Lightning this season. So Dexter Williams Jr. can cut this now, and he does, to a 4-point game, 27-23.
And right now, it's just the little things that the five have to clear up. One is the transition defense. They got to get back on defense and not allow this Halifax team to score off transition, and then take care of the rebounding.
Gabe Freeman, the pass over to Watson, didn't know how much time was left on the clock, had about 2 seconds and made a pass. The shot got off, but it was too late for the Halifax Hurricanes. So after one quarter of play here in Greater Sudbury, it's 27-23 for the Halifax Hurricanes, the visiting team. And you mentioned it, the defense not bad other than the transition defense for the Sudbury Five. Just maybe shore up some rebounding and better offensive possessions.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of this sport is even though it may not have turned out the way you wanted in the first quarter, you have a lot of game left to make your adjustments and execute your offense and your defensive philosophies.
And we saw, last night's game, the Sudbury Five down after one. They were down, 13 points at one time, but this game, especially in this league, it's a game of runs, and teams can easily get back into it. And so, a 13-point deficit may seem like a lot, but realistically, you got good shooters like Braylon Rayson who can knock down a couple of threes, and you're right back into the game. So I think you continue to stick to the game plan. You don't change too much. You just hope that you get a little bit better possessions on offense and that the rebounds go your way a little bit better in the second quarter.
Absolutely. Like you said, 13 points isn't a lot of points because we have the three ball that's always there. But we have to make the adjustments, I think, on the defensive end and get some defensive stops. And then hopefully some good offensive possessions to give yourself the opportunity to go on a run.
Braylon Rayson, we said it, last night's game just 3 of 11, 1 for 8 from the three-point line for just 8 points. Came into the game last night, the top scorer in the National Basketball League of Canada at 26 points a game. And so struggled last night, is going to be leaned on heavily with Jalen Bland out for this game. So far, not the best start, but a long game, and we get some changes for the Sudbury Five. George Soress, the Sudbury native, comes out, making an appearance. Devin Gilligan comes back in, and same with Yohani D'Alembert, Adam Blazek, and Corey Dixon joining him for the Five.
So hopefully the Five, they come up with a sense of urgency on both ends of the floor. Pick up the level of play, get in the passing lanes, and then look to run, see if you can get something early from your early transition game. If not, let's get some movement, ball movement side to side.
And like last night, the Sudbury Five elect to go with the zone defense, a 2-3 zone, and a rebound, George Soress. And we're going to have a foul a long way from the ball. It's to Gabe Freeman. And George Soress picks up the rebound in his first couple seconds of action, is able to bring it up court, but the foul stops the play. We're going to see the Sudbury Five hang on to the ball. And Adam Blazek now. Blazek had a couple huge threes in last night's game, couple deep threes, so he's not afraid to shoot it. George Soress gets it into Corey Dixon. Dixon backing his man down. Watson has 2 on him, splits the double team, puts it up, and he's fouled.
Well, I think that offensive possession much better. Ball was moving side to side off of the pass, off of the dribble, and good look into the post.
So Corey Dixon will head to the free throw line for 2. Leading the way for the Sudbury Five in the first quarter, Travis Relaford picking up where he left off last night. 4 of 6 shooting for 10 points. On the other side, Tyrone Watson off the bench, leading the way in 7 minutes. 9 points on 4 of 5 shooting. The Sudbury Five shooting just 44% in that first quarter. Not terrible, but the other side 52% for the Halifax Hurricanes. The ball goes into Watson and kick out quick. And the shot, that's how you beat the zone defense, inside, outside. Quick passes making that defense move. And a nice knockdown shot there by the Hurricanes.
And that's the thing, regardless of whether it's a zone or man, any type of penetration, whether it be off the pass inside the paint or whether it's off the dribble, will break down any type of defense that's out there.
And it's Malcolm DeVivier with the shot, the last bucket for the Hurricanes. The man from Toronto. Out there with Tyrone Watson from Hamilton, so a couple Canadians And DeVivier knocks up another three, and there he goes. Went to Oregon State before going in senior year to the Akron Zips. A long history with that program, once coached by legendary coach Bob Huggins. Adam Blazek, the up fake, gets it into D'Alembert. D'Alembert tries to put it up, has it blocked, and transition the other way. Nobody stopping the ball, allowing deep penetration into the key for the Halifax Hurricanes.
And that's the basketball one-on-one 101. The first thing is you got to stop the ball, regardless of whether you're in a zone or in a man. The ball is the most important thing on the floor.
And communication so key when you're playing a zone. You're picking up an area, and if there's two guys in there or there's a ball carrier coming up, someone has to communicate, look, I got ball.
Absolutely.
And a couple rebounds there as Jordan Washington able to expose, gets his own rebound, puts it up. Adam Blazek, drop pass to Corey Dixon. Dixon has it stripped. Didn't look like it went out of bounds, but they call it that way.
Yeah, the five are really struggling right now. It's not so much with the action that they're running, but the execution side of it. The Halifax is getting their hand on the ball at the last second and knock it away.
Corey Dixon allowed to get deep position there off the inbounds play. That's worked a couple times tonight and this season, that play. And Corey Dixon is able to finish it this time. The lead 35-29 for the Hurricanes. The shot up from Gabe Freeman. No good. Devin Gilligan, the rebound. Quickly back the other way. Streaking on the baseline. That one tipped away. And Adam Blazek is going to pick up the foul. A good foul as the opportunity was coming back the other way for the Hurricanes.
And what the five have to understand on the offensive end, if they're going to make that bounce pass, the bounce pass has to have some pace on it, because these guys from Halifax are athletic. They're getting in the passing lanes. Their hands are tipping off the ball. If you're lazy with a lazy pass, they're going to get their hands on it. So we got to clean up the passes that we're making and execute taking care of the basketball.
And the shot goes up from Kadir Edwards is no good. They're getting some stops, but you got to make them pay on the other side. Blazek behind the back pass into Corey Dixon, goes right to the hole. And strong move there, pushing Gabe Freeman off the way.
Absolutely, creating space, getting past your defender, and then laying it up for two.
And Corey Dixon doing the right thing the other way on defense, telling his teammates to talk and communicate.
And that's the emotion you want to see on the floor. It's like they're right there in the game. They just have to be a little bit more consistent on both ends and bring up their energy level.
Malcolm DeVivier, the pass to Watson. Great ball movement by the Hurricanes. The shot is short by Edwards. George Ceres with the rebound, gets it over to Adam Blazek. Loses it for a second, has it bounce off his leg, gets it back. He's going to pull up from way downtown. Rack it up, 5-4-3 from Adam Blazek.
I'm sure those are one of those shots where the coach is saying no, 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 and when it goes in, it's yeah, yeah, yeah.
At a bit of an opening, someone is going to step up or need to step up and fill that void of Jalen Bland. Hit a couple threes here and there. And it doesn't have to be one person, it could be collectively 2-3 players who step up and go in double digits where, you know, you might be used to 8-9 points and you get 15-16 from them. Makes up that scoring punch.
Absolutely. And when one of your big scorers is out, it limits, obviously, what they bring as far as how many points they score. But now the touches are going to go to somebody else. And it's everybody else's job collectively to get good touches and then to execute and put the ball in the basket.
As a longtime coach, do you game plan differently when you have one of your top scorers who's out with an injury?
Well, you have to, and one of the things that we as coaches do is we will encourage maybe more people to be a little bit more aggressive with what they're doing on the floor. So if they're the person that always made the pass to the scorer, if you're open and you're in your range, take it, right? So encouragement, you look at other ways that you can get some baskets as well, but for the most part, I think it's just a matter of encouraging the team that, hey, we can do this collectively. It's not on one person's shoulder.
And down goes DeVivier there, holding his back, takes a hard fall on the tailbone that does not feel good ever. Adam Blazek is going to get a couple screens, and Braylon Rayson wide open. And it's going to go off the Hurricanes, out of bounds. Good look from Rayson, just didn't knock it down. And Travis Relaford going to come back into the game, take out Devin Gilligan. So Relaford, who had a great first quarter, is back out there for the Sudbury 5. And it's going to be Adam Blazek inbounding the ball, gets it to D'Alembert. And the shot missed by Blazek. And again off the hands, tipped out of bounds by the Hurricanes.
And that's just good, aggressive, and wanting it on the offensive glass to keep that ball alive and get it tipping off the glass, and giving yourself at least a chance to get a second chance or third chance points.
And the shot there missed by Corey Dixon. It's a 2-point game, 36-34. Still lots of time left in this second quarter. And a nice smooth shot there by DeVivier. Braylon Rayson uses the screen from D'Alembert, floats it up. A nice touch there by Braylon Rayson. If it's not working outside, go inside.
Absolutely. Both teams offensively, they have a lot of pick and roll games. So, hey, if you can turn the corner and look to attack and it's there, you got a 5-foot jumper or a floater, you'll take that all day.
And Odutch Opong is able to knock that one down fresh off the bench. And responds quickly with a 3 for the Halifax Hurricanes. And you've got Braylon Rayson up top now looking for Relaford. Both teams getting quick shots off. There hasn't been one possession so far this game that's been deep into the shot clock.
Yeah, both teams are going at it. They're, you know, whether it's off of one pass or two pass or off the third pass, but you're absolutely right. They're looking to attack early and often.
Braylon Rayson gets it in to Yohanni D'Alembert. Swings it, D'Alembert. Nice cut off the screen. He's going to go up, does not finish. And the rebound to Jordan Washington. A good read by Blazek. Two players went out on the shooter. Braylon Rayson left D'Alembert open momentarily. The help side was there for the Hurricanes. Odutch Opong takes the shot. It's well short. Those are the shots that you say, no, it was tipped. I didn't airball it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're going to have a timeout. So you saw, we talked about it last night, Yohanni D'Alembert's story. An absolutely crazy one. I mean, he was involved, his family, his friends, involved in the 2010 earthquake in Haiti. And his older half-brother, Samuel D'Alembert, longtime NBA player, you know, took him and his sister, moved them to the United States, where he was in Philadelphia when he was playing with the 76ers at the time. He loved soccer, didn't even like basketball. Soccer was his sport, but he started to, it grew on him. Went to Lower Merion High School, where Kobe Bryant went to and played, and, you know, really developed. You can still see his parts of his games are raw, but I mean, that's to be expected when you pick up the game at 15, 16 years old. But, you know, just crazy, tragic story. Lost a lot of his friends in that earthquake. Over 100,000 people were killed in a terrible situation. And for someone, you know, to make it out and to be playing professional basketball, just the determination that this kid has shown.
Absolutely. Hearing that story tells me that this person is a person that has the will to fight, to claw, to you know, get the best that he can get out of life after going through such a unimaginable, you know, something I can't even put into words, but have to go through that as a person. It definitely makes you a stronger. You have to be resilient, and you know what? It's a great story to hear that he's playing basketball, and basketball is giving him another opportunity maybe at life.
And, you know, his parents still live in Haiti. He's from Port-au-Prince, Canadian citizen, and, you know, more than happy to have him here in Greater Sudbury.
Oh, for sure. That's just you know what? I can't put it into words. It's not even about basketball when you hear a story about that. It's just about a person that's been dealt a hard reality of things that go on in life, and it's so glad to I'm glad to see him playing basketball and you know, getting something back.
Out there having fun, smiling.
Absolutely.
He's having a great time. He does sub out, and Corey Dixon touches the baseline. It's going to be a turnover. 5:44 left to go in this second quarter. It's 41-36 for the visiting Halifax Hurricanes. And Brown has him opening, doesn't take the shot, gets it back out to DeVivier. And a travel is called on DeVivier, trying to drop it off for Gabe Freeman.
Now the Sudbury Five have to really watch. I know they're playing a zone, and it looks like they're funneling them towards the baseline, but there's a difference between funneling and then giving too much room. So as far as the guards are at the top of the zone, you got to make sure that if that person is you're trying to funnel them, you don't allow them to turn the corner and get into the paint where nobody else is coming for help. Because I think that the Halifax offensive player could have easily taken like an 8-foot shot.
And a broken possession there. Relaford gets a shot up as the shot clock was winding down. Ends up coming around to Dixon, who gets it blocked, and then Braylon Rayson hits the jumper. It's a 3-point game. A much lower scoring game for the Sudbury Five than we've been used to. 38 points at this point with under 5 minutes to play in the half. They've scored 38 points in a quarter before. And so that's just, you know, the pace of play that it's been. It's a 41-38 game. Both teams getting quick shots up, but it's starting to become a little bit more defensive of a battle.
Yeah, as the game is going on, you can see that, yeah, they're playing more out of the half court. I don't know if it's because they played the Sudbury Five played last night. There may be some tired legs in there, who knows? But yeah, it's become a half-court game.
Grandy Glaze can't pick up the rebound on a missed Travis Relaford shot. Gabe Freeman comes back the other way, up to DeVivier. He's knocked down a few. That one is a bit too long. Glaze using the big body to box out and go get that rebound, and he's streaking the other way. Sets the screen. Blazek knocking it down. And that play was about Blazek knocking down the shot, but the hustle by Grandy Glaze. He got the rebound, was the first person or the last person back for the Five. Streaked down the court, set that screen, and got an opening on the shot. Blazek is going to get fouled by Gabe Freeman, who falls on top of him.
So if you look at both offensive sets for both teams, when the Halifax team came down, Delave took a shot, he missed it. We come back down, he takes the same shot, and he makes it. So it's a matter of execution. And great to see that the Five hopefully go on a run and close out the quarter to their advantage.
And so Grandy Glaze will inbound the ball. Gets it to Adam Blazek, who's hit a couple of threes already this afternoon. Blazek over half, looking for Braylon Rayson. And Adam Blazek thinks about the shot. Nice cut back door. Is able to get it in the pass just out of the reach of Corey Dixon. Great defense there by Mike Poole, number 3 of the Hurricanes, getting a tip on it. You don't want to get beat back door, but he makes up ground. He's able to get a hand on it. It's Joel Kindred getting to Tyrone Watson, back to Kindred into the paint. And the shot goes up, it's short. Flynn Scales is not able to hit it. Blazek into Dixon, the flip pass is touched out of bounds by Brown. It'll stay with the Sudbury Five.
And you can see from the defensive end of the floor that, again, if you're not putting pace on a pass or getting it right into where it should be, this team from Halifax is going to get their hands on it and deflect that ball.
Braylon Rayson, the step back jumper, along two, knocks it down, giving the Sudbury Five the lead.
And that was an amazing shot. He can knock those step backs or those fadeaways. Definitely part of his game.
And right back the other way, it's Mike Poole, member of this championship team from last year, or the league final team. Braylon Rayson jacks up a 3, no good. Grandy Glaze able to find the rebound, Braylon Rayson has 2 on him, gets it to Glaze. Someone should be open. Glaze makes a move, can't finish. Corey Dixon has a bounce off his head. Relaford, the elbow jumper, no good. Couple good looks for the Sudbury 5, unable to knock him down. Nice pass there. And Watson, a golden opportunity. And those ones you don't like to miss. Into the corner, it's Braylon Rayson the other way. They can't get it to fall. And it's going to go out of bounds off of Halifax, staying with Sudbury.
Absolutely. Both teams are struggling right now. They're missing little chippies inside. You know, if they make those, whoever makes those shots are going to pull ahead before this 1 minute and 53 seconds ends the second quarter of this game.
And those are the type of shots you look back on the tape after the game. If you end up losing the game, you know, you look back, these are the moments where, you know, momentum can turn. This is why we probably lost the game. The free throws and the bunnies, those are always frustrated if you miss those and you look back at the tape and you lose a game by 2-3 points.
Definitely. Coaches will always say, like you said, turnovers, bunnies, and the free throw line.
And Blazek, just as we talk about it, knocks down his free throw, ties it up at 44 with 1:50 left to go in this first half here in Sudbury. The 5 losing last night, 110-107 in a close one to the London Lightning, the defending National Basketball League of Canada champions. The runners-up here in Sudbury this afternoon, the Halifax Hurricanes. The last 3 finals, 2017-18, it was London over Halifax. The year before, London over Halifax. And the year before that, Halifax over London. The Sudbury 5 hoping they can change that finals and as an expansion team make it all the way. Nice pass, bounce pass into Grandy Glaze. The hustle, can't save it.
Glaze just looks a little bit like he's ready to go, and he's got to slow down a little bit, get himself under control, get some composure, and then look to attack if that's what he's looking. He looks a little rushed with his offense right now.
Almost like, you know, making the move before you catch the ball.
Absolutely.
You know, you can read the defense once you catch the ball. You can get that second to read the defense, what they're giving you, but at least give yourself that 1 second opportunity.
Right.
Braylon Rayson, the shortest player on the court, is able to get in there with the rebound. Nice bounce pass from Corey Dixon into Grandy Glaze. No mistake there from the big man down low. And the largest lead of the game for the Sudbury 5, 48-44.
And that's just great recognition. Took a little bit of time to look over his shoulder. Nice bounce pass to someone on the weak side who's wide open, and good for 2.
And the help side doesn't drop down on Grandy Glaze there. One defender has 2 within a couple feet of the bucket. Tough to defend that. Corey Dixon draws the defender over to him. And the bounce pass is perfect into Grandy Glaze. So as time winds down here, under a minute to play in this second quarter, the Sudbury 5, who trailed after 1 quarter, have battled back nicely and played, you know, a good mix of defense, offense. We know both teams have been struggling a little bit on offense, but the last couple minutes, it's been good for Sudbury.
Absolutely, and I think that's the difference in the game right now in regards to the run that the 5 have made is down the stretch, and I would say you're right, Nick, within the last like 2 minutes of the game, they're executing, they're getting nice little passes inside the paint that are going in, and I think it's the reason why they've actually pulled ahead, and hopefully they take that into the second half of the game.
The Halifax Hurricanes have lost 3 straight games. The Sudbury 5 dropped 1 last night after winning 2 straight. Opposite divisions. Still, every game counts. It's a long season. The Sudbury 5 off to a great start. Exceeding expectations, some would say, 6-3 on the season. The crowds have been great here in Greater Sudbury. It's been electric. Great basketball, and all home games have been closed, although I think the Sudbury faithful could use a blowout or 2.
Absolutely. There's nothing better for your confidence to get a win like that, maybe going into the Christmas break or so forth. Absolutely.
A shot is missed. Braylon Rayson able to get the rebound, gets it over to Blazek. I like this lineup combination because you have Braylon Rayson, who usually gets the point guard duties off the ball. He's a great shooter, allows him to get open like this play right here. Blazek handling the duties of ball handling. Pass inside to Corey Dixon. He's going to get the foul with 26.3 left to go.
That was just a great pass into the big. And again, maybe if you just get your composure, get 2 feet, go up strong, that's an and one as opposed to shooting two free throws.
But the biggest thing there, everyone touches the ball on offense. Good movement. You get into your offensive set. You don't have anything on the fast break, that's fine. Okay, let's get into the offensive set. Run a play, have everyone touch it. Good ball movement. It's deeper into the clock. And they get a good look, and Corey Dixon able to knock down both free throws. It's a 6-point game, and probably the last possession of the half, as the shot clock and game clock almost exactly the same, with 10 now on the game clock. An opening for Jordan Washington, doesn't take the shot. The screen from Watson into the paint. Too easy there for Clinnscales. Good defense right up into that point. But an easy bucket to end this first half. It is 50-46.
Absolutely. You couldn't have asked for a better game. Both teams have had their little runs of momentum. And now it's a matter of going into the second half with the coaches making their adjustments and seeing what happens.
A much better second quarter for the Sudbury Five. They lead this one by 4 points at halftime, 50-46. We'll be back shortly with more Sudbury Five action here in Greater Sudbury against the visiting Halifax Hurricanes on Eastlink Community TV. Welcome back inside the Sudbury Community Arena. Second half action between the Sudbury 5 and Halifax Hurricanes. I'm Nick Liard, joined by Shirley McLean. And the Sudbury 5 lead this one 50-46. What did you see in that first half from the Sudbury 5?
Hey, they probably didn't get off to the best start, but I think that they ended the second quarter the way that Coach Lutz would want them to end. They went on a roll. They have themselves a 4-point cushion, and now it's a matter of gaining control of the game and pushing forward.
Sudbury 5 led by Adam Blazek off the bench with 13 points, 2 of 3 from downtown and 5 of 5 of the free throw line. They're doing a great job getting to that free throw line. 12 of 15 shooting to 6 attempts on the other side, the Halifax Hurricanes, but one area of concern, the turnovers and steals.
Absolutely. The 5 have turned it over 12 times, and Halifax has 7 steals. So if you clean up that stuff in the second quarter and you take away the opportunities that the Halifax team has had, you clean up those 2 areas, and you'll give yourself the opportunity to get a little bit of a larger cushion here.
What you want to see on that stat sheet for sure is something that, you know, Halifax has in this game, the 7 assists to just the 2 turnovers, whereas you see on the other side the 2-to-1 ratio, not a ratio that you want for the Sudbury 5. 12 turnovers, just 6 assists on the afternoon.
But the good thing about that is, if you're going to take away something, hey, you're still up 4 after all of that. So now it's a matter of let's execute for the second half and put this game away.
And just shooting 43% on the ball game. And you're holding the Halifax Hurricanes to 41%. They shot 31% in that second quarter, and Sudbury outscored them 27-19. It was a close game at half last night. It's a close game at half here this afternoon, so we're in for another good one as we're underway in Sudbury. Travis Relaford, 10 points in the first quarter, nothing in the second. So we'll see if he can get back to work as the set play for the Sudbury 5. Braylon Rayson up top has 2 on him, gets it into Corey Dixon. Dixon fades back to his left side, just a bit too strong.
Great move coming out of that first set. Just a matter of putting the ball in the basket.
And the shot by Gabe Freeman missed. He gets his own rebound, goes up with it, and he's fouled.
So what we don't want to see, from what we did see in the first half, is the second and third opportunities for this Halifax team. So again, the 5 have to really concentrate on their willingness to box out and get a body on somebody.
The 33-year-old from Phoenix, Arizona, misses the first one. Long-serving member in the National Basketball League of Canada, off and on since 2010-2011 when he won the MVP award for that season. He's actually a mechanic, works out of a motorcycle shop in Phoenix, Arizona.
Well, isn't that something? He's a guy that pays attention to detail then, so it's going to help him on the court.
And Travis Relaford gets the screen from Yohani D'Alembert. Corey Dixon, they're working it around the top. The Sudbury 5 bounce pass goes off the leg of Dixon. D'Alembert fighting, and it's going to be out of bounds. Reaching over the line, the Halifax Hurricane player did. And it's going to be Sudbury 5 ball, 14 seconds on the shot clock.
So that's a good offensive set. I like the dribble penetration from Blazek. That little pocket pass that he tried to make, just got to execute where he gets that ball into the big's hands.
Travis Relaford looking into Dixon. He's got Freeman on him, goes left hand and in.
And Dixon has had that matchup all game long, and he's doing a good job of exploiting it. Just keep going to it until Halifax can make a stop.
And Gabe Freeman hesitates a little bit on that 3-point shot. Braylon Rayson has D'Alembert inside. Nice move through, no finish, but he does get the foul.
And right now the 5 are doing a great job of exploiting the defense of the Halifax team. They're getting that ball, they're penetrating it, they're penetrating it off the bounce pass into their post players. They're doing a great job at recognizing what's available.
You see that replay there by D'Alembert. Good take, but you like to see him go up strong and just try to throw it down on top of a couple people. Moves the ball a little bit around and misses it out left. Does hit one of 2 free throws, and it's a 53-47 game for the Sudbury 5. Quick play by the Halifax Hurricanes. It's missed. Another rebound. Ramel Brown picks it up, and it's out of bounds. The second chance points in that first half, 9 for the Hurricanes to 5 for the Sudbury 5. So a couple rebounds coming back to haunt the Sudbury 5. A nice take there by Mike Poole, taking the contact, using the body, and finishing off the glass.
And that's just great strong physical move into the paint. The 5 have to do a little bit better job at seeing that they're beat and getting some rotation on the defensive end of that play.
Relaford just outside the free throw line is able to knock it down for the first points since the first quarter. And Gabe Freeman. The ball moves around to Mike Poole. The point guard throws it out of bounds. Mike Poole, he's getting up there in top 5 in field goals, games, points, threes, rebounds for the Halifax Hurricanes, long-standing franchise. So when you're up there in those categories, you're doing something right, and it shows his all-around game as well. He's up there in points and rebounds and threes for a point guard. And Devin Gilligan with Mike Poole in his face knocks it down, and we're going to have an early timeout by the Hurricanes.
And that's just a tough three-point basket made. And you can see that it's the beginning of the momentum run for the Sudbury 5. So it's a good timeout on Halifax's end.
Cross-court pass by Travis Relaford. And to win, you got to knock down some of those tough shots. Early in this third quarter, the Halifax Hurricanes have been missing very similar looks. But Devin Gilligan able to knock it down, extending this lead, the biggest lead of the night or afternoon for the Sudbury 5. It's now up to 9 points.
Absolutely, and one thing is, as an offensive player, if you can make a couple of those tough shots and the defense is closing out and they're right in your grill, the next time they do that and they're closing out the same way, just give them a little pump fake, or you can do a nice little step back, create some space, or attack the basket. So you're always going to keep your defender guessing what you're going to be doing on the offensive end.
And for some reason, you see it a lot, that defender will bite on that pump fake, a corner 3. A very low percentage that you're going to block it, but on that second look that he gets the next time, if he does give that up fake, it's a good chance that defender will go flying right by.
Absolutely.
And the Sudbury 5, 58-49. They will be off until next Friday. The Sudbury 5 will be. Looking to come out of it, I guess you can consider Thursday part of that weekend. They beat KW Titans, the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans, on Thursday. So if they pull out a win here against Halifax, it will be a winning weekend. And same lineup out there for the Sudbury 5. No changes yet, as it's Halifax Hurricane ball. And Cliff Clinscales gets it to Gabe Freeman. Around to Mike Poole. Poole up top for Kindred. He takes a shot, knocks it down. Nice response out of the timeout by the Hurricanes. And that's going to be a travel call, as Gilligan turned and tried to dribble before looking.
And that's just a great play coming out of the timeout. Some movement, some ball side-to-side movement, pin down screen to the shooter, and he knocks down the 3.
Mike Poole has Devin Gilligan on him. Gets it over to Kindred, back to Mike Poole. Poole dribbling, goes to the left hand, drops it off to Brown. He puts it up and in off the glass. So 5 straight points by the Hurricanes. A good timeout there by head coach Mike Leslie. And Travis Relaford gets it to Corey Dixon, who hands it right back to Relaford. Looking up top for Braylon Rayson. Rayson cutting to the basket, going into the trees, is going to get bailed out by a foul call, but going up into 3 players.
And he's crafty enough to get inside the paint. But again, as your space closes, as you see that space close with defenders coming, you got to look for your spotters and see if you can find somebody on the outside and give him a nice open look for a 3.
He does get 2 shots and is able to knock down one of them. Braylon Rayson in the first half, just 6 points, but facilitating at 4 rebounds. Doesn't have any assists, which is kind of weird. I thought he picked up a couple in that first half, and he is third in the National Basketball League of Canada at over 6 assists a game. Poole gets it to Kindred. Kindred into Gabe Freeman. Freeman looking to go up, has it in his legs, puts it up, it's missed. And Braylon Rayson able to get it, fakes the pass, and a foul called there on Clinkscales.
I think the thing about Rayson is he is someone that can facilitate. I think when he does kick the ball, they're putting it on the floor, and that's negating a chance for him to get an assist. But he's doing what a point guard should do. He's running the offense, he's facilitating, he's getting into the gut of the defense, and he's making things happen. He's creating for other people.
Not only that, look at those kicks.
Absolutely.
The shot from deep, just short by Rayson. Rebound. Gilligan has it stolen. Travis Relaford picked it up. Gabe Freeman, the alley-oop up and down. Nice finish there by Joel Kindred.
You couldn't ask for a better 3-on-1 than what you just saw there. The ball was hit ahead, and nice play by throwing it up there for the alley-oop.
Travis Relaford, it's a 4-point game, goes right at Poole. The scoops with the right hand. The long reach is able to get by Poole and score. Relaford coming to play in this third quarter. Now Mike Poole gets the screen, turns it down. Now he uses it. A great seal there by Brown, using the big body on Travis Relaford.
Just a great movement on the offensive end of getting your spot set and then using your strength to seal him and getting a pass where you want the ball to come to.
And you look at that footwork without the ball, right?
Absolutely. And it's one of the hardest things to have your players buy into is putting in the extra work before you actually get to where you want to. And the hardest thing for a coach on the defensive end to say, you got to put in the work to take him away from where he wants to go.
The ball is inbounded to Gabe Freeman. He's got 12 on the shot clock. It's going to be Corey Dixon picking up the foul. And so sideline out of bounds for the Halifax Hurricanes. It's Poole. Mike Poole, and we mentioned that all-around player, played high school at one of the best prep schools in the United States, played alongside Tristan Thompson of the Cleveland Cavaliers and Mick Kabongo as well. And Mike Poole now backing down on Rayson, gets it to Brown, who goes up with the right hand. Strong move. One dribble and up.
So right now from Halifax, and they're doing great ball movement. The ball is buzzing from side to side, and then they're getting some action between their bigs where when the big gets it in the low post, his partner's coming down the lane.
And Travis Relaford, no ball movement, but a 3 hit by Relaford. And the nice penetration there by Poole. It just rattles out. Rayson, the bounce back to Blazek, who's going to jack up the 2. No good. Tough shot there by Blazek. And Travis Relaford's going to pick up a foul on a loose ball opportunity.
No, I don't think he had his feet set. It's not the worst shot to take out there, and a coach not going to be that upset with the type of shot he took, but just get your feet set and then take your shot.
It'll be Clinkscales over the timeline, gets it to Kindred. A screen up top from Brown. Clinkscales dribbling in as Rayson on his backside. Mike Poole with the clock winding down, trying to find Brown. He does. A little bit of room on the end line. Gets it out. Gabe Freeman's got to put it up. A little bit long and back the other way. Sudbury coming. No look pass into Grandy Glaze. Nice feed by Blazek. And the finish just rolls out on Grandy Glaze.
And that's just a great defensive set from the Sudbury 5. They held them to 3 seconds where they took the shot, and then they got a nice transition opportunity at the other end.
You got a nice no-look play there. Looking at Corey Dixon was Adam Blazek from Erie, Pennsylvania. And he throws it right down Grandy Glaze, and that's what you want from your big man. Run, paint to paint.
Absolutely.
And try and be that first person down. You're allowed to establish position if you're able to do so. And Glaze rewarded there by his point guard, Blazek.
And that's exactly it. We call those the rim runners, where they run to the rim. And if your bigs are going to run for you, then you reward them by getting them the basket.
The free throw no good there by Grandy Glaze. It's a 66-58 game, 5:50 left to go in this third quarter of action here in Sudbury. A shot goes up, a spinning. Didn't know if he knew where the basket was, but he still puts it up. Kindred doesn't go in. Rayson had Gilligan for a second in the corner. Now he goes to him. Over to Blazek, the up fake, flyby, shot up short. Good decision there. Corey Dixon picks up the foul, but Blazek, a good look for three.
Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that offensive set. Just a matter of, I don't think he had his legs into that shot. He was a little short with that shot, but great offensive set.
So Corey Dixon picking up a couple of fouls. We'll head out. Yohani D'Alembert comes in for the Sudbury Five. Started this game in just his second appearance for the Five organization. Graduate of James Madison University. Inside, it's Shadrach Lefille getting some run now for the Halifax Hurricanes, number 22. Braylon Rayson using the screen, gets another one from Grandy Glaze, two on him. Glaze up top, he's gonna jack up the shot, and just off the right iron.
Well, they're really spreading the floor, the Five, for that pick and pop game. There's lots of open space. I think that the Five can attack the space on the floor because it's wide open.
Cliff Clinscales there, knocks down the three. 34-year-old from Queens, New York. Played 4 seasons with DePaul Blue Demons. Led the NCAA in assist-to turnover ratio, and on the other side, Blazek answers with a three-pointer of his own.
Well, that's one thing about Blazek. He can definitely blaze those shots up there. He's got some long range.
And a foul as Blazek reaching in on Joel Kindred.
And it's one thing about a shooter. If they have that range, they keep you on your toes as a defender. You never know where they're going to shoot from on the floor if they have that range. So whoever is defending has got to stay in their defensive position and push him out a little bit further than where he took that last shot.
Sideline out of bounds for the Halifax Hurricanes. Mike Poole gets it over to Clinscales. Pass goes through the hands of Jordan Washington down low.
And you can see from this game how the tides have changed a bit. The Halifax team in the second half now is the team that's turning over the ball a little bit more than what they did in the first half. I think that's a testament to some of the defense that the Five are playing.
Grandy Glaze trying to go reverse with the left hand, a bit too strong. And the rebound to Clinscales, back the other way. Looking for the screen. He gets Kindred, who goes to the basket with the left hand, banks it off the glass and in. Braylon Rayson cross court to Devin Gilligan. Shot is good. What a response by the Sudbury Five. They have a 9-point lead.
And that's the thing. They're knocking down some shots. They're hitting their threes. And for the Halifax team, they cannot afford to trade baskets or to trade baskets 3 points to a 2-pointer.
Samuel D'Alembert, or Yohani D'Alembert, sorry, meets his counterpart Jordan Washington at the rim. Picks up the foul on the arm. Jordan Washington will head to the line for 2.
So you'll see from the offensive set of Halifax, they're running a lot of offense with they're curling and they're getting successful shot attempts off the curl, where the Sudbury Five, they're running their action and they're getting success off their threes. So 3 is always going to be the 2, and so which team adjusts to running them off the 3-point line or getting a defensive stop will gather some more momentum in this game. And
as a coach, as you see a pass in there, it's turned out What's the best course of action to defend those curls off the screen as we see an and one go in? Is, you know, the defender is show a little bit to knock that curl, or what is it?
That's exactly it. You might want to show where you have your big show and allow your offensive person, as we say, you want to caboose them, meaning you're staying close to them, getting around the screen. Or if it's likeness for likeness, you may want to switch.
And so the and one free throw is missed. It's a 72-67 game. Halifax clawing back into it. Lead was up to 9. That's the biggest it was this afternoon. Devin Gilligan, who just recently hit a 3. To get it to 72, spins back, gets it over to Rayson. Shot clock winding down, 5 on the clock. Rayson going right to the rim. And he's going to get the foul call. Great job. He goes into the big man, draws him up with the pump fake, and then as soon as he's on his way down, goes up and gets the foul.
And the good thing about that is, as the little guy on the floor, hey, when you're surrounded by bigs like that, as soon as you get them up in the air, you want to lean into them, cause the contact, and then you're going to the line for 2.
Great baseline look there on the replay from our camera crew at Eastlink. And the first shot goes up and in, 73-67, 2:26 left to go here in the third quarter. Second one good. Rayson, top-notch marks at the free throw line this season. Leading scorer in the National Basketball League of Canada. They have the leading scorer, leading rebounder. When you have those two things, your team is more than likely going to be successful, unless you're the Knicks with Carmelo Anthony.
Good one, Nick.
Thank you. Braylon Rayson has an opportunity, gets it over to Devin Gilligan. Gilligan has Mike Poole on him. Goes in and draws the foul. Poole thinks he was pushing off, but the refs are going to call it to the Halifax Hurricanes.
Now, what I would like to see from the 5 offensively is to get back to what they were doing well with moving the basketball. I think right now the basketball's moving, but it's all off the dribble. And we all know that the ball moves faster in the air than it does off the dribble. So get that ball moving side to side.
The set play. Rayson comes off 2 screens, then Gilligan comes off another 2. Gilligan with the clock winding down. Tough shot. And you gotta love it when your team makes something like that. Gilligan, the step back through the legs, knocks down the 3.
Absolutely creating the space, seeing the space, moving that defender from the step back and knocking it down.
And as a defender, not much more you can do. Great defense, just better offense. Blazek coming back, gets it into the corner for Rayson, wide open, rims out. It goes right to Grandy Glaze. And sometimes rebounds all hustle, sometimes it's a bit of luck.
Absolutely, but the thing is that the energy is there on the defensive or getting on the glass, and so anything can happen when you're going for that basketball. And as we see, nice little tip into his hands and good for 2.
And you see there on that replay, just such a smart play by Grandy Glaze. You see the shots going up, and in fact, you have position offensively, so you box out the defender, and so you're essentially trying to, you know, get the rebound that way, and it's just such a smart veteran play. The rebound will fall right to him like it did. And, you know, as an opposing coach, you don't really like that because you want your team to be in the inside boxing out Grandy Glaze.
Absolutely, that and that is just a great basketball read and a great basketball IQ.
And so a timeout here at 79-69, ball game, biggest lead, 10 points now for the Sudbury 5. After a slower first quarter, it's been a great second and third quarter for the Sudbury 5. And obviously there's still the fourth quarter to go, but making strides and on a back-to-back as well. Halifax had the night off last night, so good to see. Without one of your top scorers, Jalen Bland, you're coming out with some good energy and good pace on defense, only 69 points. In a league where we're used to seeing, you know, into the 110s, 120s in scoring.
Absolutely, and the one thing that the 5 are doing is every time Halifax makes a run, they are finding a way to stop the run and then make a run of their own and negate what Halifax just did. So they're gritting it and grinding it, and that's what you want to see from them.
It's Halifax with the ball. Downloads Lufile, goes up with the right hand, banks it off glass. His first 2 points of the game.
And what you want to do from the defensive end on a big like that, if you body him and he can feel you, he will spin off of you just like he did. Give him some space where he has to look and find you, and that will maybe give your defender a chance to come and help.
Braylon Rayson goes off the screen. Nobody there to defend him, so he jacks up the three, knocking it down. 11-point game for the Sudbury Five. DeVivier is fouled by Grandy Glaze. And we're into the bonus here in the third quarter with 18.6 left to go. Both teams. Sudbury has 7 fouls, and the next foul for the Hurricanes will mean bonus shots for the Sudbury Five.
Now the Five look like they have some tired legs out there, but the coach is going with the people that are making it happen, and that's what you want to see. You can get your rest in between the third and fourth quarter, but yeah, a couple of players look a little tired out there.
And it all comes down, conditioning, right? You play for that fourth quarter. That's what you want. You want those minutes in the fourth quarter. And so the Sudbury Five, they've played a couple players, gone a little bit deeper into their bench, 8, 9, 10. Here tonight, George Seres getting some run. And the rebound bouncing around with the seconds ticking down. Grandy Glaze able to come away with it. With 12 seconds left, the Sudbury Five will have the last shot. Travis Relaford, or he's just going to go right to the basket, score with the left hand, take that. If you have an opening, why not? DeVivier didn't realize how much time left on the clock. Benefit to the Sudbury Five. Just lets it run down, and it's a 12-point game going into the fourth.
And for Coach Lutz, I think that he'd be proud of the effort and the energy from his team in the third quarter. They definitely stood out. They raised the bar on both ends of the floor, and they got themselves a nice double-digit lead.
So an 8-point advantage in that third quarter for the Sudbury Five. And it's all about closing it out. However, in the fourth quarter, we saw, Sudbury trailing after one, making a run of their own. And Halifax has been making the run, but the big shots, Devin Gilligan, Adam Blazek, and Braylon Rayson making those big threes that just kill any momentum. So they got to continue to knock down those shots, but the key in the winning effort comes on defense.
Absolutely, and if I'm the coach from Halifax, they have to now try and find a way to change this game. So it may be some full court pressure, it may be some double team. What I would do is make Blazek work, because he's doing a lot of the facilitating for the Five. So I would take an opportunity to pressure him and make him work a little bit extra hard so he doesn't have his legs on the offensive end.
And especially on a back-to-back night, you're going to have some tired legs. So we'll see what Halifax does. Sudbury switched up their defense in the second quarter, seemed to work. They went zone, now they're back to man-to-man.
Absolutely, and I think the fact that they are mixing up the defense is something that's playing to their advantage, giving the Halifax team different looks. And so Halifax can't afford to trade baskets now. They have to find a way to get some stops on one end and accompany it by some execution on the other end.
And so it will be Sudbury Five ball coming out of the third quarter, going into the fourth. Sorry, Halifax ball. Inbounded by Lufile. Out there with DeVivier in the backcourt. Sudbury going with Braylon Rayson, Grandy Glaze, Adam Blazek, Devin Gilligan, and Travis Relaford. 12 minutes or more to play here in Sudbury. The Five looking to move to 7-3 on the season. Halifax looking to get back to 500. They are 4-5. Sudbury atop of their division. Lufile the miss. Big rebound there by Jordan Washington trying to go up. He's going to get tied up by Devin Gilligan, who wanted a jump ball, but it will be a foul.
So again, I'm going to say the same thing that I've said in the first half in regards to the willingness to want the ball on the offensive or defensive glass for the Sudbury Five.
Well, you see there definitely a problem when you have 4 white jerseys and 1 blue jersey, and the blue jersey able to come away with the rebound. It's something you look back on film and easy to point out.
Absolutely, and that's just anticipation on Halifax's point, knowing, okay, where's the ball going and how bad do I want to get that ball?
DeVivier gets the pass across and a knockdown shot there by number 13, Joel Kindred of the Hurricanes. Kindred leading the way now with 16 points on 7 of 11 shooting. Very effective from him. Blazek, nice pass, good recognition, down low to Grandy Glaze, misses it, puts it back up, takes away the assist, but gets a rebound, so patting the stats a little bit there.
Absolutely, hitting that offensive boards.
And Adam Blazek giving a little smile, saying, hey, that's my assist, big man. On the Sudbury 5 side, it's Travis Relaford leading the way, 19 points. But you have 5 players in double-digit scoring, which is so huge. Off the bench, Adam Blazek with 16 points. Travis Relaford shoots a 3, missed. Kindred off him and out of bounds.
And that's exactly what you want to see as the head coach for the Five. Is you want to see multiple people in double-digit scoring, and again, it's a matter of collectively picking up the slack with the injury.
And the Five get a turnover there, a 5-second violation out of bounds. And a big number here after halftime, 12 turnovers for the Sudbury Five, just 2 in that third quarter, so taking care of the ball a little bit better. The Halifax Hurricanes doing a pretty good job still, only 4 turnovers on the game, and a nice pass inside there.
Just great recognition from the Halifax guard. Turn the corner, attack the basket, and a nice little push pass to his big for 2.
Braylon Rayson looking for Grandy Glaze, finds him, nice pass in there, just a little bit too high for Devin Gilligan. Blazek gets hit out of the way, and a foul there on Joel Kindred. He'll head to the free throw line for an extra 1.
And that's a situation of not getting back on defense for the Five. The Halifax team got up the floor. The defender tried to stop the 2-on-1, and then we didn't have anybody come back and help out in the situation. So moving forward, this game is long from over, and you got to play every second until your team gets the basketball to go back the other way.
Well, it's a 12-point lead after the third quarter. This free throw can cut it to 5, and Kindred does. 86-81, Sudbury just scoring 2 points in this fourth quarter through 2 minutes of play. Braylon Rayson up top. Screen from Grandy Glaze gets it to Devin Gilligan. Gilligan going to the left hand. Inside a lazy pass goes right into the arms of Kindred.
And what the Sudbury Five have to do is when they get penetration and you pick up the ball where he picked it up, he's looking for somebody to present themselves in an open window where he can get them the pass. Everybody stood and watched, and what happened is he had to make the pass. The defender gets his hands on it, and then we get a turnover. So we got to do a better job at moving, keeping yourself in a window where the person that's penetrating can see you so that he can make a pass and you can get yourself available.
A smart timeout there by head coach Logan Stutz. Just slow it down. And the momentum starting to shift in favor of the Hurricanes.
Absolutely. I think we have some tired legs from the Five, and definitely Blazek right now to me is key to the team because he's been running the offense, doing a great job at running the offense. He was off the floor. So there's some tired legs out here, but it's mind over matter. You got to execute even with tired legs, and it's a matter of willing yourself to get the job done.
Still plenty of time left to go in this fourth quarter. Rock Monster hanging out in the stands. Taking a couple of selfies, no big deal.
And I'm sure in the huddles of both teams, one team is talking about, okay, let's just settle down, let's get some good offensive sets, let's make sure that we raise our urgency. And for the team that's behind, their coach is encouraging, saying, hey, you're doing a great job, we've got a double-digit point down to 5 points. Now it's our opportunity to push forward and try and win this game.
They're doing a great job on the fast break, getting out and running in transition, and you want to be within striking distance as the fourth quarter winds down, and that is where they are, within 5 points. 9:48 left to go here in this fourth quarter. It'll be Hurricanes ball out of the timeout. And it's Poole back in for the Halifax squad. Running the offense, gets it over to DeVivier. Inside now to Jordan Washington. He'll shoot from the elbow, and it's missed. Corey Dixon, the long pass, Rayson, wide open for three, puts it up 5, 4, 3, and Braylon Rayson knocks it down.
Just what the coach asked for out of the timeout, I'm sure.
And what can Halifax do in response? A bad pass there. It's a turnover. Travis Relaford spins around his man, gets it to Rayson. Another one, that one off the glass. Big rebound. Rayson to the basket, going up with the left hand. It'll likely be on the floor and not a shooting foul.
And there's one thing about that shot that went up. Probably not the best shot to shoot, but the fact that someone went and hit the offensive glass to get themselves a second opportunity is what you want to see.
Rayson, a bit of a heat check. Misses it, but Gilligan able to pick up that rebound, kick it out, and Rayson does the right thing instead of looking for that three again. Cuts right to the basket, picks up a foul. Go to the free throw line for a couple freebies.
Absolutely, good basketball move.
DeVivier now with the ball for Halifax. The Sudbury 5 back to the zone defense. Inside, Jordan Washington putting it up. He'll get fouled heading to the line.
Well, I think it's a good move to mix up the defense from the 5. I think that there's some tired legs, so coaches may be getting some rest in the 2-3 zone. However, we got to make sure that as the ball goes into the paint, that you take care of the person that's in your area and don't allow them to get wide open looks off your zone.
Corey Dixon picks up foul number 5, so Yohani D'Alembert comes in for him. He'll take a seat at 6 fouls and you're out in the National Basketball League of Canada. So with 8:50 left to go, he'll probably get about a 4-minute breather before coming back into this one. Devin Gilligan had a bit of an opening, but decides to hand it back off to Braylon Rayson. Rayson taking a couple screens from D'Alembert, slices through, good passing from the 5. And D'Alembert up. Gets the foul, he'll head back to the free throw line. But Rayson going through the defense, giving it off to Glaze.
That's just a great basketball move. That great skill set, allowing him to split the defense, kicking it out, and then going from the high post into another low post slasher for opportunity to shoot 2.
Rayson, when you think there's no room at all, he's able to somehow slice his way through 2 defenders and still keep control of the ball. Just an amazing point guard, and just the confidence and vision, the court vision that he does have.
He absolutely does. He's got a great handle, going both left or right, and his court vision is second to none. He sees what's going to happen before it happens, and that's the epitome to having someone that knows and can see and can make your move in the moment while it's happening, and that's what Rayson does.
The bounce pass in goes off a couple of bodies, and it's going to go out of bounds. They say off Halifax. They're going to talk about it. they're going to reverse it, say that it is Halifax ball. It did look like it went off a 5-player, and no real argument coming from the Sudbury team. So it's often a good indicator that it was off of them.
Absolutely.
A long pass out to DeVivier. 2 players at the high post. Mike Poole over in the corner. It's Kindred. He knocks it down in the corner office for 3. 93-86.
And that's what I was mentioning. The ball went from the high post and then the high post to one of the perimeter shooters. The defender that's on the bottom of the 2-3 zone, you have to know where your shooter is. And you got to be a little bit closer as the ball is coming closer to whoever is open in your area. We just closed out short there, and he was open for a wide open 3.
Rayson takes a quick 3 back for the Sudbury 5, and it comes to the Halifax. And Jordan Washington able to put in the and 1. The foul going to Johanni D'Alembert. And just like that, 4-point ball game here in Sudbury. Plenty of time, 7:56 left to go in this 4th quarter. You don't want to go away. It's going to be a tight one coming down the stretch. D'Alembert open in the post. Relaford's going to go to the right hand. A bit too strong off of Poole, out of bounds.
We just have to be a little bit more patient. I think we're trying to go off of 1 pass, and the defense hasn't really even moved a bit. You can get that same look, couple opportunities when you move the ball side to side, and you may even get a better look than trying to go off of 1 pass.
Rayson, the step back shot is going to be off the iron, out. And the rebound to Joel Kindred. Gets it inside to Jordan Washington, has Glaze on him. Out to Mike Poole. And back down to Washington. And we're going to have a foul on Grandy Glaze. Just looked like 2 players playing, 1 on offense, 1 on defense. Nothing really there, but they call a foul.
Yeah, I think the offensive person, just because of him willing his way to the basket, is what made the referees call the foul on the 5. I think he was the more aggressive person, and so he got the benefit of the doubt.
93-92, 1-point game. A dangerous play. It's stolen. And the finish no good from Lufile, as a dangerous pass ended up in a turnover. Sudbury got lucky there. Still 7:06 left to go, and the Sudbury 5 have committed 7 team fouls. So anytime the Halifax Hurricanes get fouled, they go to the free throw line from here on out. That's big, because 7 minutes left to go on the clock.
Absolutely, and if they're aggressive and they're the ones that are making the aggressive moves to the basket, the referees will reward them for being the better aggressor.
So Johanni D'Alembert gets the inbound to Braylon Rayson. He's open, takes a shot, knocks it down. Big time buckets from Braylon Rayson from downtown.
Like I said, every time the Halifax team gets close, the 5 find a way to steal the momentum back.
Gilligan fighting with the rebound. Nice job there. Reach in. Mike Poole picks up the foul. It bounced around. Gilligan able to corral the rebound. And it was a 1-point game, now a 4-point game thanks to that 3 by Braylon Rayson, who's come to play in the 2nd half.
Absolutely, he's done a great job at running the floor, shooting some threes, and creating for other people. He definitely does it on the offensive end of the floor.
And we see that lineup that was working for the Sudbury 5 earlier, with Blazek handling the ball and having Rayson off ball. And Blazek has Glaze inside. He's got to get out of the key. Blazek, the left-handed floater, rattles in. Nice finish, nice touch.
Absolutely, that's what we call a shooter's roll.
The left-handed floater goes in. DeVivier gets the pass down to Jordan Washington. 2 on him. Gets it out to Kindred, out of bounds, 5 ball.
And this is what you need to see from the 5. Everybody was pretty much defending in the passing lanes, and they forced Halifax into turning it over.
And the response by the Sudbury 5, Halifax on that run, And you mentioned it, they've done a wonderful job this afternoon at limiting those and not allowing Halifax to gain that lead back. And Relaford slicing through the defense, no help side there for the Hurricanes. A right-handed layup in. Head coach Mike Leslie not happy with that defensive effort. Going to make some changes.
Absolutely. Anytime you get an open look and you're going to the basket and you're not even touched, yeah, the coach doesn't want to see that. He wants at least someone step in the lane, draw a charge, make him kick the ball, but don't give him an open look like that.
And the ball goes out of bounds off of Jordan Washington. 5 retain the ball, 100 points to 92. The Sudbury 5 break 100 once again. And they run a set play trying to get Relaford the ball, gets it to Grandy Glaze, outside for 3, puts it up. Glaze, a little bit icing on that one. And we're gonna have a timeout going to Halifax. It's back up to an 11-point lead.
And just like that, your big steps out, nice open look, knocks it down. And you've stolen your momentum back.
A 10-0 run for the Sudbury 5 in this fourth quarter, and the Halifax Hurricanes squad got to be thinking, okay, we can get beat by Braylon Rayson from 3. We can get beat by Adam Blazek, but when Grandy Glaze stepping out, knocking down a couple of threes, that's when you know the defensive rotation's just not there.
Absolutely, and I think it's a testament to the will of the 5. They are not rattled by the Halifax team making their runs. They are taking it in stride, and they've held their composure all game long. And it just goes to show you the fact that, hey, these guys are not going to just sit back and take it. You go on a run, we're going to go on our own run. And they've done that every single time Halifax has gotten close. And so, hey, this is a team that's fighting, and they're doing a great job at it.
Perhaps the most impressive, without one of your top scorers, Jalen Bland. Just the contribution across the board, both from the starters and from the bench. A very balanced effort offensively for the Sudbury 5.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be something that they can grow and take with them as experience, that if they happen to have some injuries along the way, that other people will step up. I think it's a nice little measuring stick for the coaching staff to see that, hey, they can count on other people to step in and do a job if they happen to have some injuries along the way.
Well, you hope that Bland is back and it's not a long-term injury for him. But yeah, like you said, nice to know that there are players who will step up and fill the void. Over 5 in double-digit scoring, so you have players on the bench scoring in double digits like Blazek. Nice pass there of the timeout. No basket, and a foul on DeVivier. It will send him to the free throw line, but almost a smart foul as Washington wide open underneath.
Absolutely. It was a good recognition from the Halifax guard, but hey, there was a foul on the floor and it negated the situation.
So Malcolm DeVivier from Toronto, Ontario, 23 years of age, so fresh out of school from Oregon State before finishing senior year at the University of Akron. Coming to the Halifax Hurricanes. And misses that second free throw, Grandy Glaze. Slowing it down a little bit, want to use as much clock as possible. Braylon Rayson to the cup and one. They're going to count that. What a take.
Absolutely. Like I said, the little guy, he knows how to use his body, gets to the basket, gets into the torso of the defender, and lays it up for the and one.
Well, that's an exact prime example of how to use the body. You're going to go into defenders who can block your shot that are taller than you. You want to put that body right into their chest and take away the reach of the arms, and exactly what Braylon Rayson does, and he's so good at that. He can hit those threes, but then he keeps you honest by driving by.
Absolutely. Like I said before, his skill set, the mindset that he has on the floor that he's not going to be denied, you can't teach that. That's something that he has within, and the Five should be happy that, like I said, they've got a great little point guard in front of them that knows how to play this game.
And again, the kicks, look at them. They're beautiful.
Absolutely. He's styling.
DeVivier will head to the free throw line. Another foul to the Sudbury 5. 106-93 with 4:47 left to go.
And this is a point where we were at in the end of the second quarter, where the Five actually went on a run and was able to get like a 4-point lead going into the halftime. They now have to close out this game by executing and getting their defensive stops.
And it'll be interesting because a lot of the games, a lot of their wins this season, they've come from behind to win. So they haven't had a whole lot of experience as a team closing out. And when you have guys like Braylon Rayson knocking down that 3-point shot, makes it a little bit easier. Rayson inside, outside, doesn't matter where he is, he's going to score.
Absolutely. He's a baller. He knows in the moment, he's not going to shy away from the moment, that's for sure.
They're going to call Poole stepping out of bounds there, a turnover. And while the Sudbury Five, they were turning it over early in this game, it's a flip-flopped, and the Halifax team now turning over in key situations where the Five are making them pay.
Absolutely. They have the Five rattled and on their back foot. They're being the more aggressor of the two teams, and it's paying off for them.
That ball's going to stay with the Sudbury Five. Rayson going to inbound it. He's got Yohani D'Alembert, Grandy Glaze, Adam Blazek, and Travis Relaford. The lineup out there likely to finish the game. Rayson and a big rebound. Grandy Glaze has it, but Kindred is able to grab it, throw it off Grandy Glaze. The control on Kindred, and back to the Hurricanes.
So now is a time where it's about clock management, about making smart decisions on both ends of the floor, and I'm sure coach from the Five, head coach is stressing that with his team.
DeVivier jacks up the three, missed. It falls into an open area. Travis Relaford comes away with it. He goes right to the cup, and it rattles out. Touches almost every part of the rim. DeVivier to the cup, and one.
So those are the plays that you want to stay away from, where, you know, the Halifax team is transitioning up the floor and you're bailing them out with the foul and now the extra point at the line. So you want to stay away from those types of plays. You have to stop their running game because you know that's something that they've been doing all game. This is not the time to allow them to get easy baskets.
And on top of that, the other way, you only use 3-4 seconds on the shot clock with your offensive possession, and it comes back the other way for an easy bucket and one with not much time going off the clock there.
Absolutely. So again, back to smart basketball, clock management, and you are up in this game, so you don't want to play like you're scared, but you don't want to play out of control either. You got to find that balance.
Poole inbounding it for the Hurricanes, gets it to DeVivier. Poole, nice pass to Washington, drop pass to Poole, easy basket, nice ball movement there by the Hurricanes. Adam Blazek gets a screen from Grandy Glaze in the front court. Over to Braylon Rayson, sweeping by DeVivier. DeVivier doing a good job on defense, keeping the hands up, but once again, better offense, a fadeaway shot by Braylon Rayson.
Absolutely, this guy's doing it all for his team down the stretch, and that's great to see.
Jordan Washington responds quickly. But the Sudbury Five, they're fine with trading baskets. You like to have a good defensive effort, but you're up 10 points. Trading baskets fine with 2:43 left to go.
Absolutely. It's the Halifax team that has to do something different now. They have to change the game somehow, and part of it is getting stops.
Grandy Glaze, a little bit too much room for the big man. He knocks down the short corner shot. And Kindred responds quickly.
And that's what the Five have to do. They have to make the Halifax team play out of the half court and not off a transition.
I don't know how Braylon Rayson got that one up. The Euro step and in control, moving it around. He seemed like he hanged up there for a couple of seconds and he was able to put the basket in. Rayson has been on fire in this fourth quarter, leading the charge. And the foul to Yohani D'Alembert, and we're going to see Corey Dixon, who has 5 personal fouls, coming in to close this one out.
Absolutely, and the both the offensive and defensive person in that last offensive set for Halifax. It was good defense, but at the last minute, he bailed him out by bodying him, and that's why the referees called the foul.
And the first shot is short for Jordan Washington. 12-point game with 1:51 left to go. And the Sudbury Five could use a nice convincing win. And a big one, that one tipped in. As Ramel Brown with the one-handed putback.
I know, we're seeing everything in this game. Just when you think, you know, they got their hand on that basketball, there it is up in the air and now in their basket.
Braylon Rayson is fouled by DeVivier. And it'll be the 6th team foul for the Halifax Hurricanes, so it won't mean bonus just yet. But with 1:36 left to go, be interesting to see if the Hurricanes play a possession game or a foul game down the stretch. Corey Dixon coming up to set the screen for Rayson. As the bigger Brown on him, Rayson takes the shot and knocks it down. A 5, 4, 3. Ice in that kid's veins.
Absolutely. I think he likes to see that defender right in his grill, and that's when he makes the shot. And if you're wide open, he misses. So, hey, he's done everything he had to do to get this team a W. And, hey, just a great all-around effort from the whole team.
Yeah, we get a look at Rayson's three. Open threes, I don't want that. Give me some contested threes. I like those better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Adam Blazek now. I'm surprised that the Hurricanes didn't apply more full court pressure, as you said, after the end of the third quarter, to try and get some turnovers, or at the very least tire out the players of the Sudbury Five. Corey Dixon has it stolen, and Brown is coming back the other way. Ramel Brown, nice move, going right to the cup with a right-handed finish. And a timeout coming. No timeout, just a substitution, as Antoine Chandler is going to come in. Alexander Henry also getting some blow late in the game for the Sudbury Five. And Braylon Rayson coming out, getting a nice ovation from the crowd, his teammates giving him some dabs as well. Well, what an effort from number 2 of the Sudbury Five, Jalen Bland.
Absolutely, it's been an all-around effort. I think the whole backcourt has done their job at taking on that leadership role of collectively either scoring or getting other teammates involved.
And how about Adam Blazek, hero as well in this game, as DeVivier is fouled there. He'll head to the free throw line, but great job off the bench.
Absolutely. I think Blazek's done a great job, especially in the first half of this game where things weren't really going the way that the Five wanted to. He was the steady person for this game and took that energy into the second half, where now you're seeing a lot more people jump in and help out.
And barring a late 30-second comeback, the Sudbury Five will move to 7-3 on the season. Impressive start to their first ever season. They've only lost one game at home, or 2 games at home, sorry, 1 in overtime and then 1 last night to the London Lightning. And so home court advantage has been nice for this team, and an even better victory seeing as one of their top scorers out. We mentioned it already, Blazek is going to jack up a 3 as time is winding down. Jordan Washington going to come. An easy basket missed by Kindred. And that will spell the end to this game. The Sudbury Five come away with a victory, move to 7-3 on the season. Big performances by Travis Relaford, who gives some high fives to the crowd in the front row and appreciating the support here in Sudbury.
What an amazing game today. Like I said, the tale of two halves where turnovers and rebounds and lack of free throws, but I think at the end of the game, the Five were the better team. They had the lead pretty much all game.
And a big thing about this game this afternoon, adjustments. They made adjustments after that slower first quarter. They were turning the ball over. They were making lazy passes. but they got the ball moving on offense. They also, I mean, it helps when you hit threes the way that they hit it, especially in that fourth quarter, the way that Braylon Racing was playing. But I mean, they made those adjustments that really helped push them into that lead at halftime, and they held on the whole way.
Absolutely, and they showed us what they're made of as far as their grit and determination and their willingness to win. They gritted out this game, and if you have that type of mindset in every game that you play, you'll be in every game.
Grandy Glaze, a good performance once again on the glass. The offense coming from Blazek, from Corey Dixon, from Braylon Racing, of course, Travis Relaford and Devin Gilligan, all scoring in double figures. Grandy Glaze, another double-double for this guy. He's been a double-double machine. And the Sudbury 5, they have the rest of the week off, so I'm sure they'll take a little rest after back-to-back nights of playing, and then, you know, back to practice, and then a game on Friday.
Absolutely, they deserve a couple days off or a day off, but because they've earned it, they played hard and they showed their grit and their urgency to win here tonight.
On the other side, the Halifax Hurricanes, they've been to 3 straight National Basketball League of Canada finals. They dropped to 4 and 6 on the season, heading to Sudbury. The first matchup between these two teams this season, it's a 120-110 victory for the Sudbury 5. And Halifax just not able to hit those shots down the stretch.
Well, I think that really the better team won. I think that the Halifax team made their runs, and every time they did, the 5 found a way to put the fire out early and go on a run of their own. And I think that was the most important factor, is they never let the 5 get to a point where they took the lead and never gave it back. They always found a way to keep them at bay, even when they were making their runs, even when it was a 1-point or a 4-point game. They never looked back.
And it was a fun one this afternoon for Nick Liard, Charlene McLean, and all the crew behind the scenes with Eastlink. The Sudbury 5 pulled this one out, moving to 7-3, 120-110. Thanks for tuning in to Sudbury 5 basketball. Till next time, 5 fans, thanks for tuning in on Eastlink Community TV.